All right, hello. Welcome to another video. In this video, I want to talk about property management. I have seen countless videos, well, not countless, there's probably five, on the internet, and it is glossed over about hiring a property manager to run your investment. And even in some of the videos that I've seen online, uh, it's so generic that it's like, yeah, you should get a property manager for your property, and here's why, and then they list out the steps. The problem is, the problem with that is, if you, as the investor, don't know how to manage the property, you are not going to be able to discern whether you have hired a good property manager or whether you've hired a complete and utter knucklehead, which I would argue 90% of the property managers out there are knuckleheads. They don't know what they're doing or they're doing it wrong. So, a couple of things before we get into a spreadsheet here. Bigger is not always better. If you go to CB Cushman and JLL, they are the big firms, they are the dominant global firms. Their property managers may or may not, likely they are not, that good. They just aren't that good. So, a couple of ways that you can at least try to get a better manager. Designations, if they have, a certified property manager behind their name, which is through the IREM Institute, or BOMA has one called I don't know, it's their version of a certified property manager. Either way, uh, those designations are good. They are a good start, but like anything, you can get designations without actually doing work and just kind of taking open book tests. And if you want a little bit more information on that, I've actually done a whole video on designations that you can find on my channel. So, first step, check to see if they've got some designations. Secondly, when you meet with them, whether it's CB, Cushman, JLL, or the smaller regional type firms, who is the team? Who is the property manager? Meet them on site and make sure that that person is the one that's going to be the head property manager or at least the team lead. Don't get caught up in like the salesperson for the company who is going to make you feel all warm and fuzzy, and then they're going to pass those management operations off to somebody else. And then how many other properties does that person manage? I mean, if you've got a 100,000 square foot office building and a manager is interviewing for that position, and they've got 10 other buildings and they're spread out across the region, you're not going to get a lot of service. So it's very, very important to understand, uh, how many other properties that current property manager has, and then also maybe even negotiate into the contract that you're not going to get more properties, right? I mean, if they don't have any other properties that they're managing and they put your property under them, but then a month from now they all of a sudden have 10 more, now you're screwed. So keep that in mind. Ask to see examples of other property reports that they're sending out to their other clients. Um, reports are reports are essential. Reports are good, but you as the investor have to understand every single line item of those reports. And I can take a look at management reports for various properties, and I can pretty quickly see if the numbers don't add up or if something's off or something's just not right. So ask to see those, uh, but you need to be educated yourself as the investor. Ask what accounting software they're using. Typically, for the larger companies, they're going to likely use MRI or Yardi. I prefer Yardi. MRI just kind of sucks. Their output just sucks. Um, So ask what they're using. If they're using some off-brand or they're using QuickBooks, uh, I'm not saying that they're bad. It's just that they're not as professional. So you've got to you've got to discern that. Again, it's up to you to develop a business plan for your investment. You cannot buy a property, turn it over to a property manager, and expect them to increase the value. That's not what they do. That's not what 99% of property managers do. 99% of property managers collect rent, pay the bills, and put out fires. That's what they do. They are not responsible for increasing the value of your building. Now, if you get a property manager like I've seen or I know, or I would consider myself, an asset manager, if you get somebody like that who's talking to you about how to increase the value of the property through operations, through effective operations, that's somebody to keep. That's who you want, right? And hopefully they can help you execute a plan. So, here's what I want y'all to take away from this. And here's where we get into what I found is a checklist. What 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 I want you to do is formulate your own checklist that you go to your property with your property manager, and y'all go through a checklist of things that need to be done, that have been done, that are nice to haves, must haves, things like that. Now, the beauty is you don't have to start from scratch with a checklist. If you go to BOMA, Building Owners and Managers Association, they have something called the Toby Awards. The Toby Awards are an annual national event. Stands for the Outstanding Building of the Year, and this is a checklist that managers are graded on. So judges come into a building and they go through this checklist with the property manager to see if they are doing X, Y, and Z for these properties. This is a very good starting point. So I just want to go through some of these, and you can go onto their website. You can download this form and use it or customize it to your own property. So just here it is. So we look at the entrance in the main lobby, the greening and the helpfulness of the lobby attendants. Maybe you don't have lobby attendants. Maybe it's a smaller property and you don't have that. Housekeeping and maintenance. How does it look? Aesthetic appeal. When you walk up, does it look nice? Does it look clean? Does it look dirty? How is the directory and the signage? Are all of your existing tenants, are they listed properly in the directory? How's the lighting? Have you gone to your property at night to see if all the lights are on? Maybe they are, maybe some are burned out. You need to know that. Do not, do not rely on your property manager to do that unless you know you have a good property manager. It's the trust but verify, right? The lobby and desk equipment, ADA. Is your property manager going out and proactively getting an ADA compliance report? Is your property ADA compliant? Rules are changing all the time. So they need to get a report from a specialist that says this property is or is not ADA compliant. Security and life safety, access control, and the lobby. Do the key fobs work? Is the professionalism of the staff, are they good? Cameras. Where are the cameras? Are there any cameras out? Who has access to the cameras? After hours access. Who controls that? So there's all of these things, and I'm not going to go through all of them. This is an inspection form for an office building. There are also inspection forms, I think, for industrial buildings, and I don't think there's multifamily in BOMA, but this is a great, great, great place to start your own checklist. Um, Operating expenses, I'm just kind of picking some of these out randomly. The annual budget, financial reports, and operating expenses. I want you as the owner to scrutinize every single operating expense. Do not think, do not think for 1 minute that your property manager is going to scrutinize the operating expenses. That is your job as the owner and asset manager. Do not think that your property manager is going to do it on their own. Is the staff training and development? Does your property management team, your engineers, your property manager, do they do continuing education? Do they go to events? How are they staying up to date with the latest trends? Do they have certificates of insurance for each tenant is required to carry liability insurance? Are all of those COIs up to date? Ask them. Ask them to put them in a shared folder so that you can see them. Um, Certificates of occupancy for all the businesses. Elevators. When you get into the elevator, if you have an elevator, pick up the phone, call, see what happens when you pick up the emergency phone. It should automatically dial an operator that asks what's the emergency, and you can say, "I'm the owner of the building. I am just testing the phone to make sure that it works." Do that. Do that. Is your property manager doing that once a month, once a quarter? They should be. It should be on a checklist. Let's see, what else? What else? What else? Um, as you can see, this is a pretty comprehensive checklist. I mean, there's probably, I don't know, 100 items on here that you should be checking for. So, what are some others? The air handlers and well, this is talking about the equipment rooms and the service area and how clean they are. Go into your janitor's closet. Is it clean? Can you find stuff, or does it look like a mess? The roof. Do you have a roof report? Your property manager should have a roof report that says exactly how old the roof is, what the material is, the service reports. Same thing for the HVAC. They should have on hand, they should be able to tell you everything about the HVAC system. Is it a water chiller system? Are there package units? How many tons? The age of that, the useful life. That should all be put into a capital budget so that you know 5 years from now you're going to have to spend $100,000 to replace the water chiller. Um, all of these things are on this checklist, and I can tell you, firsthand, if you don't do these, if you don't take an active role, your property manager is not going to do it, and your value is going to decrease. I'm sorry, but but you are in charge of this asset, not them. You are their boss. They are simply there. If you're not on top of them, I guarantee you they're just going to be putting out fires, and the building value is going to suffer. So take this checklist, create your own. This is a very, very good start, but I'm telling you, I've seen so many bad property managers. 99% of them just aren't cutting it. And so you have to take it upon yourself to do it. So that's all for this. Comment, I'd welcome the comments to see if you agree or disagree, or if you're a property manager and you're one of the good ones, I guarantee you'll agree with me. If you're one of the bad ones, I don't know. Sorry. Get better. That's what this whole channel is about, is elevating our industry so that we all get better. Thank you for listening.